Florida Governor Ron DeSantis lashed out at former President Trump on Thursday after being asked whether he would support Trump if he became the GOP's nominee next year. What I would say is this: when you are saying that former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo did better on COVID than Florida did, you are revealing yourself to just be full of it, DeSantis responded. Nobody believes that, he added to applause. And you know why I know that? Because I remember in 2020 and 2021 when he was praising Florida for being open, saying we did it much better than New York and Michigan, and everyone was coming to Florida, and that we were one of the greatest governors in the United States. I don't know why he would say we instead of I, but whatever. DeSantis then circled back to the original question and said, "It's like, I want to beat Biden, okay? I will do that. I will get that done. And I think more importantly than that, I will actually bring these policies for a landing and get it all done up there. But it's an important process, and you respect the process and you respect the people's decisions, how this goes. But I'm very confident that those decisions are going to be positive for us," he said. Trump's campaign has attacked the governor in recent days over his handling of the COVID pandemic. On Tuesday, the Trump campaign rolled out a 30-second spot accusing DeSantis of shutting Florida down and referring to him as Lockdown Ron. The DeSantis campaign hit back, calling the spot bizarre. The campaign rolled out its own video with a compilation of clips of Trump praising Florida for being open during the pandemic. In March 2020, DeSantis declared a state of emergency in Florida in response to the pandemic. He then imposed a stay-at-home order on April 1st, which is considerably later than other states. So I've broken down DeSantis's COVID record several times because this isn't the first instance where Trump has gone after him with the lie that he was this ally of Dr. Fauci or whatever other, trick he likes to pull. But I'm more interested in the way that DeSantis responds to this, because I've talked before how I think a lot of politicians are empty suits and they get caught up on culture war stuff, and there are legitimate criticisms of the handling of the virus and depending on what state you were in, who did what. But what I think is more substantive here, as far as just kind of showing you, is that even when he starts to kind of push back against Trump, it still isn't done in a way that could be considered in any reasonable sense a legitimate response that punches back as hard or anywhere near as severe as Trump. Like, Trump is calling him Lockdown Ron, saying he shut down the state, and he doesn't, and he says that these claims are full of it, but he doesn't say, hey, listen, I'm all for having elections, I'm all for having discussions on COVID policy, but you're lying about my record. Does this party really want to go with someone who can't even tell the truth about one of the governors who really was ardently opposed to a lockdown as you could get? He doesn't refer back to that at all. He kind of like says, "Oh, this isn't true," and this is a lie, but there's not really anything done there to suggest that he's actually going to make this a central thing of like, hey, I get lied on, I say what actually happened, and then we can go from there. Instead, he tries to pivot it. He's like, oh, I want to beat Biden, and we're going to bring these policies for a landing and get it done up there. Yeah, but how are you going to beat Biden, who presumably, I mean, I don't know what attacks Biden would use towards him. I'd assume it'd be some similar stuff we've seen in this primary. But I don't understand how you think you can beat Biden if you can't even take out the disgraced former president. Like, Trump, every time I see something that he says, or just the weakness in these candidates to actually go after him aggressively, I'm always just sitting to myself thinking, like, this man is a house of cards. Like, I'm not even a DeSantis fan, but I feel so embarrassed at the idea that, like, this guy's governor of one of the biggest states in America, received millions of votes for that job, and still is too cowardly to push back against Trump in any affirmative way. Oh, my record is not this. Yeah, but say, hey, he's lying. This isn't the first lie he's told. He's also lied about being this ardent Social Security and Medicare fan when he tried to cut it as part of his budgets while he was in office. Like, he doesn't do any of that. So, as I've said before, as much as I don't like Trump, I if he wins this primary, he will have deserved it, because he's the only one who's not going to, I'm scared to say this about to this person. No, it's all full scorched earth, and I do respect him for that.